Welcome back to Yellow Hammer. I'm Connor, and today we're going to be wrapping up part 2 of upgrading the drivetrain on the 302. And for that, let me bring you around here and tell you what we've got. Right here, I've already kind of partly got it mocked up, put together. Already been looking at a video or two of it, if the bubble wrap will get out of the way. Alright, lift it up on the cardboard now. You can make out the entire thing. Pretty hefty unit. I've never really looked a whole lot into them other than kind of what I've heard by word of mouth, but I'm really in awe of the build quality on them. And I know a lot of you will probably think, well, they're like 580 per unit, and yeah, but from what I can tell, nearly everything on here looking like it might be made out of billet aluminum, maybe. But either way, again, got it mocked up, being the MT82 mounted. Make that out right there. Yeah, definitely looking forward to getting that on here. I think it will greatly improve the feel of the car and driving and everything. Only up till now have I really got to drive the car the way it kind of had ought to been from factory. You know, a couple grand later here, but either way, takeaway from it, a worthy upgrade from what I've heard. I'm gonna get the car lifted up, probably a couple feet off the ground, and we'll go from there. Alright, I might have lied before in the clip. You do have to take off everything here, and I'll quickly walk y'all through that. I'm thinking, yep, not very tight. Right there where I've had it out here for the car being worked on here not long ago. Take that off here, like that. Do that. Forgot it went into the cup holders, or the, whatever you want to call it there. Okay, there we go. Now we're good. And that will come off of that, like that. And after you get that up, you want to unhook that little clip right here, like that. And I think I'm good now. I don't think, oh wow, I don't remember that being that dirty right here before. I'll probably try to clean that up here at one point or another. But anyway, you want to lift up on your mat right here, get it out of the way. You want to take your boot off right here. You will be having to put that on later. I wouldn't be too rough on it to rip it, like that. Alright, now you can make out all the way down into the floor beneath the car. You don't take out all 4 of them right now, or you're not meant to anyway. Not that I really think you could anyway. But you're going to take out 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll probably be able to go back and get the car up in the air. Got the car lifted up on all 4 now. Plenty of room to crawl up underneath and not be banging my head or any other kind of body part. But right there at my light, let me move that away. Right there of my finger, you'll have a 10mm there, and over here on the right, you'll want to take them out, and I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, now after getting the 10mm nut off of the left and right part of the bracket, we're going to take that right there off. And right here will be that part. You do have to kind of get more than one hand on it to pry it back toward the back of the car evenly. But after you do that, it'll practically come off. I do have to lower the MT82, and for that, I'm going to be taking my floor check right there and putting it about right here near the fin. And to that point, I'm going to take out 1, 2, 3, 4 of the, if you have a BMR loop, or even if you don't, you'll have your mount right here going to the body for the MT82, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, I did forget to tell y'all that if you had the BMR loop, they will be a 19, not an 18. If you don't have the BMR loop, it will be an 18. But now I'm going to move up to the 3 right up there in the lot, and I'll bring y'all back to that. Now we got the left 3 out of the arm for the left. I'll go ahead and take that 10mm bolt right there out above the tip of my light, we'll need a 10mm for that, and I'll bring y'all back after we get that out. 10mm bolt out now. We did have to pull down the drive line and take a flathead and pry on the head of the bolt like that and outward. But we're going to move on now to the 13mm to take off the link, and then we'll work on going back up top to take it all out. 10mm bolt that you couldn't get earlier due to it being underneath the tunnel. You can take that out now, and then after that, pull that out, and you've got that. Then you can grab your bottom plate here and wiggle it out. Factory link out and everything. Definitely not a beefy unit. Lay that out of the way for now, and then we'll move on to the MGW. The 13mm bolt that we took out of the link from before, we're going to go ahead and put on blue Loctite, given to you from MGW, around the thread. Alright, and after you get your blue Loctite on your thread, you'll put that on the vertical hole end of the link, on the flat end with the head up, then you'll get to put it back on. Alright, if you look right here about the middle of the frame, I am holding the light and the GoPro right here. About middle frame will be that 13mm nut that you have to get to. It will be kind of a pain, but you can tell we do have the new link in right there, big frame. Now that we're done up underneath the car for a minute, I'm going to take your new hardware, everything here. You're going to put Loctite on literally everything. I do have the arm already taken off here. They will go like that. Careful to keep them right when taking them off. Again, Loctite on the arm bolt, not for the arm. Then your OEM 10mm bolt will go right here. And them two here will go through there, with that being in here and through them. But I'm going to go ahead and put the blue Loctite on everything, and we'll move on after that. Alright, now you're going to take your dynamite that they gave you, and you want to cut a area of about here to here, and then from there to there, down to the front, and lay it on it. If you look here, they relatively have it cut for the length you need. All you need to do will be to kind of lay it up on there, get a rough cut, and then you cut it right here. Go ahead and cut that now, and then we'll lay it up on top of it. Lay it on top of the entire arm like that. You can kind of wrap it around everything if you want to do that, and kind of fold it and bend it over the bend right there, flatten it out here real good. Now we're about to put the arm on. Alright, now that we got our arm ready to go, we're going to put it right back up there where we took the factory one out with our 10mm bolt. And I'm looking forward to wiggling that thing up in there. Okay, after fighting for about half an hour to get the bolt up in there and then get it lined up, finally got that tightened down and in there now, and now we're going to move on to putting the main body on. I'm going to cut more dynamite again, and I'm going to line that up with the end of that, and then cut right down through here, then we'll fold it from there up underneath and back around. Product that'll look about like that, and I have already got a little bit of that on me. I have already put blue Loctite on both of them here, but they're talking about a third, not quite the length of one of them, one bolt, and I'm unable to find it. That would go right here. I will have to find one of them. Hopefully if I have one. If not, I'll have to make a trip and run and get one. But kind of a annoying thing, but we'll get that figured out here in a minute. After looking over everything again, I couldn't find a third bolt for the bottom link here. Thankfully I did find one here that I had laying around that did end up working for that. I think from the way I'm looking at it currently that it will work for the length. I'm going to go ahead and put blue Loctite on that, and then we're going to go ahead and get back in the car, drop that to the hole, and get them all through it. New one down through here, maybe. Down, okay, beautiful. Alright, I'm going to let that hang there for now, and we'll go back underneath the car and line it up and get it hooked in. If you can tell right there above my light, got 1, 2, 3 all in and good to go now. I did go up top and moved around. It felt tight, felt good. Now what we have to do will be to tighten up and mount the arm for the bracket on the left and right here, and I'll walk y'all through that. I'm going to want to take a 13 and back out that bolt that we put Loctite on earlier from the arm to the frame. Then after you do that, you'll be able to move that arm that right there. I don't have it on it yet. That way you can make out what I'm talking about. That little collar right there will be what that arm will mount to. And after you get that on there, you're going to tighten down the nut on the arm and then repeat for the right. After you get your arm bolt tightened up on the left and right, what we're going to do now will be putting the frame connector up for the MT82, the mount. And if you have a BMR loop, you will have to line that up again. But I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and I'll bring y'all back for that. Alright, now that we have our mount back up and tightened down, what you want to do now will be to take your 13mm nut and put it on the arm that we worked with earlier on top of that nut. And I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, now that you're currently to the point that we're at, we are nearly done. We've got one more thing to do before we let the car down. That will be to put your heat wrap on around the bottom part of the unit. And we're going to go ahead and do that now. Like that, with about that amount of overhang and overlap floating back up toward the top on the left. Now we're going to go ahead, we can get in the car let down here, and we'll go back up top and work on putting the boot and everything back on. Alright, now that we have the car lowered down, back on the ground, and we're in it now, what we're going to do now will be to put the factory boot back on here. Your boot on, you'll have it looking roughly like that. I could be a little bit wrong here, but you get the idea. You got your arrow pointing downward for going down to the bottom of the car. After you get it here a little bit below that bolt right there, you take your bar tie here and wrap it around about like that. Then you can trim the end off. Alright, after you got your bar tie tied here to hold the boot right there on it, you're going to take your newfound MGW pad here, lay it on top like that, get it tucked down in here. Then you want to grab your OEM and throw it on top of it too. Thing on here, we're going to go ahead and put our middle part back down, back in. Right now I'm going to put the ball on here, that, and we're talking about tightening it down until like right there, and I want it to be there. Now what I have to do would be turn that lower retaining nut without turning the ball, hopefully. Maybe. Then we'll take your tool here. Don't know what end I need. Apparently not that end. Okay. I'm going to take that and turn it to tighten the retaining nut while holding on to the ball, and then we ought to be good after that. Final look. Got that on there about how I like it. Look, factory, but with the flat. You've got nearly an identical ball here. Alright, got the car pulled out now. Definitely a lot different feeling than factory already, only from putting it in gear to drive up here. But I'm going to go ahead and drive the car for a minute and get the MT82 warmed up a little bit. And then after I do that, I'll bring you back and we'll do a little bit of rolling through and banging out a few. But I'll be right back. Before we get turned around here, I did want to talk about it very briefly. Definitely a little bit louder than before, but again, if you couldn't tell from right there, the throw length for it, or for the new MGW, are very, very low, and I'm talking about like barely anything comparatively to factory. But I definitely don't feel like I'm not gonna hit one now. Anyway, it really firmed up everything. you might be able to make it out on camera here. You do have a little bit more vibratory feeling in it compared to before with it being mounted to the MT82. Clearly they mounted it to the body before to kind of alleviate that and make it more comfortable for the driver, but again, I don't really care for that. You definitely feel more connected to the car, like maybe how it ought to have felt to begin with. But before I take off here, I'll do a good pull or two, maybe 3 before I go back home. But LGL Turbo kind of called me out, and I didn't really want to really ring the car out before I kind of got a feel for it and got that on here. And now that I do, I'm going to take him up on that offer and bang the car out the way it ought to be driven, hopefully here anyway, and probably go every time around 8, maybe. I'll probably go a little bit before that. I don't like ringing the car out that far, but I'm gonna wait on traffic to clear up here real quick, and then we'll take off. All right, and here we go. It wanted to go more, and I had nearly gotten to 90 mile an hour by that point. Wow, I definitely want to do that again. I know I'm probably overhyping it to a degree, but again, if you never looked at a video before on here, then you'll know the amount of trouble that I've had through literally everything. Third gear, lockout in nearly every gear. Really everything that could go wrong with the car did go wrong, including why I have a newer MT82 in here. Okay, let me let traffic go by here for a minute to give me a little bit of room. Felt the car like that before in my life. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta calm down a little bit before I get in trouble here, but oh dude, that tickled me pink right there. That really did. That felt incredible. Yeah, finally doing the full on review from kind of a part 2 from the video before, if you want to call it that. But dude, overall, I know the MGW, they're like up to, well, mine anyway, the way I configured it had been like around 550, and I bought everything through Beefcake, but they did hook me up with a deal on that. I don't know if they hooked me up on a deal with MGW or not particularly, but you know what, let me do one more. Dude, I'll never get over that feeling, I don't think. But anyway, I'm gonna call it right there. I've had too good of luck lately. I will probably end up getting in trouble if I don't let off. LGL got to talking about, or I think it had been him anyway in the comment, about the crank relearn, and how you'll have a engine code with a lighter flywheel and different drivetrain and everything until you get it reprogrammed. And the current point that I'm recording, I have not yet had that done, but the video that you're currently viewing will be up on Friday the 18th, maybe the 18th, and I have an appointment with the local Ford dealer to have it relearned. Then I won't be able to have time to edit the video that you're currently looking at, upload it, or render it in the program, and then upload it to YouTube, all in time for my regular upload. But what I'll do, right when the video will drop, if you'll look at the pinned comment, it'll be from me, and I'll kind of alleviate whether that did work out or not. The whole time I've been driving the car, I've not had it come on. It kind of been a very lightly random deal where it'll pop up and be like 1 in 3 or 5 detected, but whatever, no big deal there. I don't really think it'll have any problem with the crank relearn, or after that anyway. But I do want to thank you all for coming by. If you liked the video, drop a like, comment, or if you found anything helpful here about what you might want to do with your car, and I'll talk to you in another video.